Hi, I'm Ken LaPlace, president of Living Legends. As a retired police officer, I've seen and experienced some of the devastation some police officers and their families face as a result of a job loss or injury on the job that sometimes can lead to a serious disability. I've met many police officers and their families who are suffering from serious diseases such as heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and multiple sclerosis. There's a condition out there called post-traumatic stress syndrome, which some police officers suffer after experiencing a traumatic event, such as a shooting. Living Legends is a 501c3 nonprofit organization created to provide assistance to police officers, their families, and even their friends during those unpredictable dark hours when tragedy hits. Now, for the next couple of minutes, you're going to hear and listen to stories from people who very strongly represent the mission of Living Legends. And while you're listening to them, I want you to ask yourself, how can I really reach out and help them?
A van passed us that matched the description of which the perpetrators were in. And after a few blocks of following them, they knew we were back there, and they gradually increased their speed to a point where it turned into a pursuit. So as we got close, as the vehicle that I was driving got closer, we never let them out. They never got out of our sight. And as I got closer to the vehicle, that is when the perpetrators in the van we were pursuing started shooting at us.
Shots fired.
I'm blind in my right eye. I have a prosthetic eye, and I have limited mobility on my left arm and my left leg because my brain injury was on my right side of my brain, which controlled the left side of my body, which took away some of my mobility on my left side of my body.
Since his disabling injury back in 1998, Officer Lloyd Todd spends most of his day confined to his small home located on Detroit's northeast side, where a full-time caregiver monitors his regimen of medication and daily needs.
These are pills right here that I take for the gunshot wound I sustained to my head to prevent seizures, because since I suffered a traumatic brain injury, I'll always be a candidate for seizures probably for the rest of my life.
In spite of his daily hardships, the highly decorated officer rarely complains, and he still has dreams to fulfill, such as regaining his mobility so that someday he can spend some quality time with his 9-year-old son.
I can't spend the time that I want to spend with them as a father and a child do, and my injury robbed me of a lot of time to spend with him. And things like that. If I had like a wheelchair, a motorized wheelchair that I can use, that I can spend time with him, I'm sure he would probably really enjoy it too, because he can give me the time. It's nothing like seeing the smile on your child's face when they spend the time to do, especially when the child is growing up. Because you will never see those kind of smiles again.
Living Legends is working to fulfill that big dream.
Once Pat positioned his car right in front, all of us exited at the same time, and Pat and I approached the driver's side. Christy and Barbara approached the passenger side.
With both sides of the stolen Cadillac covered, the officers ordered the driver to get out.
Pat kindly asked the driver to step out of the car. He didn't comply to that. Well, I was a little bit more blunt about stepping out of the car.
With Cooper barricaded inside the car, Foam and Wadika know they must make a decision.
So as soon as Pat opened up the driver's door, Cooper put one foot out on the ground and one hand on the driver's side and reached around with a gun and fired one shot, striking Pat in the head. And then by this time, Cooper stood up out of the car. I fired one shot at him. After he got shot, he looked down at his stomach, looked back up at me like, he walked over, staggered, kept staggering, and this is where Cooper dropped right here on the ground. I don't know how I would react if I just had to shoot somebody, but seeing him shoot Pat with nothing, with no feeling, I don't have absolutely no feeling firing back at him. And the effects that I was feeling was major flashbacks, reenactments of the scene, panic attacks, paranoia. You're a mess. You're a mess after such incident.
The emotional trauma of killing one man and watching another, a close friend and comrade, die right before her eyes has left an indelible scar on Officer Wadika's conscience. And the road to recovery would be long and difficult.
Intense therapy, psychological therapy, try to get in contact with other officers that have been through a situation as myself, to see if there's any bond or anything we can do to help each other. It was devastating. It was devastating to me and my family. Trying to make every ends meet, try to put food on the table, try to pay for the roof over my head. There was no help.
Out of work and her income reduced significantly, Donna was facing financial ruin.
You know, had there been a Living Legends available at that time, I would have definitely put an application in to see if things would be a little bit easier on my side of the home.
Living Legends is currently working with Donna to help ensure a full recovery from her post-traumatic stress syndrome.